Have you ever read a book where you felt like someone just cracked your brain open and spilled all your thoughts out? Because that's the type of fiction I'm talking about today. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Monal. I study psychology and love reading fiction. So it's natural for me to gravitate towards books that talk a lot about character development, their relationships, personality, what thoughts and emotions they're feeling in certain situations, what are they experiencing at a given moment. Those are the kind of books that interest me. So today I'm going to be recommending books that made me think about psychological concepts I've studied in my degree so far. These books shattered me, they made me introspective, and they made me spiral in the best way possible. So let's get right into it. First up is a book that is very popular. I'm sure you guys must have thought of this book when you saw the title of this video. And that book is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. For those of you who are not aware of the plot, this follows the story of Lily, who one day meets this incredibly charismatic man, Ryle, and their relationship is like a whirlwind. It's very romantic. Things are crazy fast, but fast in a good way. They are in love with each other, but things in their relationship start going wrong when Lily's first love, Atlas, walks into the picture. For those of you who've not read the book, there are going to be spoilers because obviously I have to explain the psychological concept that I identified in each of these books. So with respect to this book talks a lot about cycle of abuse, intergenerational trauma, because this book is not just a romance, it's deeply introspective. It makes you deeply introspective. It's about choices, breaking out of the cycle of abuse, and it also is about intergenerational trauma. In this book, you see how Lily is grappling with everything that's happening in her relationship and trying to figure out how to break away from the cycle and not make the same mistakes her mom made. A major theme in this book is also about how love and pain can coexist when there is emotional manipulation involved. You see that in Lily and Ryle's relationship. The book also kind of gives you a glimpse at how your past experiences can shape how your present is, how it can influences the choices you make now. And so this book is really beautiful, and what hits the themes in this book home is the fact that the author actually wrote this based on her own life experiences. So that just makes this book that much more impactful. Overall, I think this book is a great read. I think everybody should read it. It's truly a book worth reading. Also, if you're not somebody who reads, you can also obviously watch the movie that came out last year. It's a pretty good movie, not gonna lie. The movie also does a very good job of explaining the themes of this book. So either way, you're not gonna miss out on anything. Next up, we have another Colleen Hoover read, and this one is even more obvious, and that is none other than Verity. Now, for those of you who are not aware of the plot of Verity, this follows Lowen Ashley, who is a ghostwriter. She's trying to make ends meet, and one day she gets an opportunity to ghostwrite Verity Crawford's books because Verity is not in a state to write them anymore. Lowen, desperate for money and work, takes up the offer, moves into their house, and starts going through Verity's notes and manuscripts, anything she can find that can help her finish Verity's books. Suddenly, she comes across what seems to be Verity's biography. Lowen, curious, obviously, who wouldn't be, starts reading the biography and comes across some really shocking secrets that she doesn't know what to do about. So that's the plot of this book. It's a romantic thriller, so there is a little bit of spice, there is romance if you're into that. This book just had me questioning everything and everyone. I was sitting in silence for a long time after finishing this book. The themes that you can sort of see in this book is like psychopathy, disassociation, and dark moral ambiguity, like especially when Lowen is reading the biography, you see those themes. This whole book kind of has you questioning whether Verity is the real author or not. Is what she's reading real or not? I mean, Verity could have written it for fun, or it might be the very truth, whatever was in her biography. So the whole time you're reading it, you're kind of questioning what the hell is going on. You're kind of wondering, is whatever is happening the truth, or are you just being tricked by the narration? This book is a brilliant example of how perception can be a slippery thing. It's also a good example of how psychological thrillers can mess with your reality. Verity, one of my favorite books, but it's definitely one of those like books that has your jaw literally dropping to the floor. Next book that I'm going to be talking about is a little more it's very introspective. It has a lot of dark themes, so definitely check your trigger warnings before going into this book. And the book I'm talking about is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. If you have been following me for a while now, you would have already heard me talk about this book in my earlier videos. You can check that out. This book is about Eden, who goes through this really traumatizing event of sexual assault, and you see how this event shapes up how she is over the next few years, and you see her trying to figure out how to break away from that trauma and become whole again. The themes in this book includes sexual trauma, PTSD. There's also identity disruption. You like literally see how her personality changes after the event. This book is truly heartbreaking. You see her trying to cope up with the pain. She's trying to regain a sense of control because of what she lost. This book is a classic representation of identity disturbance and PTSD. In this book you see how her self-worth, her freedom, her need for control become warped as she tries to regain a sense of her choices and her body. So this is emotionally heavy read, but it is an important one. Now for the fans who enjoy a little bit of magic in their books, something unreal, or like you would say magic realism, the book I'm going to recommend you guys to read is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. This book talks about grief, bargaining, and denial. The plot of this book is pretty simple. It's about Julie, who recently lost her boyfriend. She's not coping well with his death. She one day calls his number just hoping to hear his voicemail, and surprise, surprise, he picks up the call. So now there is this like magical connection between them, and Julie has one final chance to say her goodbye to Sam and get the closure that she needs. This book made me sob like a baby by the time I was done with it. Like, my dad barged into my room and asked why I was crying. He was so concerned. The phone calls with Sam represent bargaining, which is one of the stages of grief. And here you kind of see Julie coming to terms with, death and finality, and accepting the fact that her boyfriend is no longer going to be there with her. She's going to have to move on without him. And this book perfectly captures the pain that we all feel when we can't let go of something or someone. And so, in simple words, this book is basically grief therapy, but in the form of fiction. Again, it's a super short read too. Also, look at the cover, it's so pretty. Next is a book that is often recommended when people are talking about psychological concepts being in books, and that is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. And again, look at how pretty the cover is. So this book is basically about Eleanor Oliphant living her life. It's as simple as that. I wish it would be as simple as that, but as you're reading the book and seeing her live her day-to-day life, you realize just how complex it is. This book talks a lot about loneliness, how that can have an impact on your well-being. It talks about childhood neglect because Eleanor goes through something really tragic and traumatic during her childhood, which kind of plays a part in who she is as a person today. And then you also see her healing from all that trauma and trying to regain her life back. She doesn't have like a lot of friends. She's, like I said, very lonely. She has this strict routine that she goes through, and she is a very layered character. It's not apparent at the beginning, but as you're reading, you realize just how deep her character is. Her story is a lesson in how childhood neglect and trauma can manifest into social withdrawal, rigid routines, and emotional detachment. That's how you see through friendship and vulnerability. You watch her rebuild her self-worth from the ground up. I actually read this a while back, so I think this book deserves a reread at some point soon. I'm definitely, now that I'm talking about this book in this video now, I definitely want to reread this book again. Now for all the dark romance girlies, I have a recommendation for you as well, and that is Still Waiting by Jennifer Hartman. This book is dark, so check your trigger warnings before jumping into the book, because at least the first half of the book at least is very dark. I'm telling you, it's the story about Dean and Cora, who are kidnapped. They are in captivity and they have to rely on each other to get out of the situation that they are in. And it also follows their journey towards healing after everything that they've been through. In this book, you see themes of trauma bonding, captivity trauma. Also, there is sexual assault as well. So, like I said, check your trigger warnings before jumping into this book. And you see how all this trauma has played a part in their healing process. They are, like I said, later on in the book, you see them literally trauma bonding. And this book explores all these dark themes with brutal honesty. Jennifer Hartman does not shy away from describing these traumatic scenes that happens in the books, which is why I'm telling you, it's very graphic. The bond that they share once they come out of captivity, Dean and Cora, is very intense, which is the whole point. They are trauma bonding. Nobody else can understand what they have been through. So they kind of have to rely on each other and help get the other person out of the pain that they are in and help them heal and move on. This book highlights how shared trauma can blur lines. It can confuse affection with safety and challenge the ideas of consent and healing. It's one of my favorite books, not gonna lie. I loved how supportive they were of each other, how they realized that they needed to be whole again so that they could be with each other. This book was just beautiful. I will never forget this book until the day I die. For one of the more creepier books I've read, and that is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Joel. This was the first book I read by the author. It's about this woman, Libby, who, when she turns 25, is contacted by this agency of sorts or whatever, and she finds out that she has inherited this really famous house. The house is famous for a reason, because that is where Libby was found as a baby with no one around and 3 dead bodies in the kitchen. So somebody was taking care of her, but Libby has no idea who it is. And now that she gets the house, all these secrets about what was going on in the house finally start coming out. This read creeped me out, definitely, but it is creepy for all the right reasons. So the family dynamics in this book is the psychological goldmine. It has coercive control, cult-like manipulation, and childhood emotional trauma. It really is like the trifecta. It's so creepy. I honestly didn't think it would be as creepy as it was. I just went into the book thinking, oh, it's gonna be a simple thriller, but no. This book is it's so creepy in the best way. Here in this book, you meet all the children who used to live in the house, and watching these children normalize that psychological trauma and manipulation is so disturbing, but also kind of an important thing to learn. Children learn from their adults. You see how people can be conditioned to behave in a certain way. In that sense, this book is like pretty good as a psychological thriller, mystery of sorts. Check this one out. Finally, for those of you wondering if there is a nice light-hearted book that you can read that's not gonna make you spiral or shatter you or contemplate your existence, then I have the perfect book for you. This book gives you all the feels and makes you want to take a vacation. I'm talking about People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. It follows the story of Poppy and Alex, two best friends who could not be more different if they tried. Everybody knows that they are the perfect match apart from themselves. And in this book, you see how they become friends, and despite living in different cities, they always meet together in the summer and take a vacation. They do this like every year, it's their thing. But one summer, things change. There is a falling out and they don't speak to each other for 3 years. In the present, Poppy is frustrated. She wants her best friend back. So she impulsively decides to invite him on a trip and mend their relationship. When they go on this trip, both Alex and Poppy have to confront what feelings they have for each other, also acknowledge what happened all those years ago and come to terms with how they want to take their relationship forward now. This book is soft and warm and fluffy, but don't let that fool you. This book is about fear of vulnerability, anxious avoidant attachment styles, and emotional repression. A major theme in this book that you kind of see is miscommunication. I know miscommunication gets a bad rep for being boring and really irritating to read about, because why can't the characters just get together? But you have to understand that miscommunication is a very normal thing that happens in real life. People don't want to be vulnerable. They will say things that are not true to what they are feeling, which can impact relationships. And in this book, you see how Poppy and Alex are unable to communicate their true feelings, which ultimately is the reason for their falling out. And it's frustratingly realistic, but it's also heartwarming to see them realizing that they need to be more communicative and vulnerability is okay with the right person. This book reflects how attachment styles can influence the relationships you build without us even realizing it. That's it for this video. Those are like, I think 8 books that I recommended. I hope I have recommended diverse enough books so you can pick what you want to read. I'd love to know if you have ever read a book that has changed the way you see yourself or others, or one that made you question everything about your own thoughts. Drop it in the comments. I would love to read them. And if you're also into psychology and love reading books, welcome to the club. I'll definitely be posting more content like this in the future, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Finally, thank you for letting me geek out with you. I had a blast talking about all these books. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with less existential crisis and more 5-star reads. Bye.